Asia Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, the greatest player in women's basketball that nobody cares about.
Asia Wilson, the unparalleled MVP of the WNBA and arguably the greatest player in women's basketball, a talent too often overlooked, finds herself in a quandary following Caitlin's potential move to Europe. Having firmly asserted her status as the luminary at Nike, Asia now confronts the unsettling reality of Caitlin's prospective earnings overseas, sparking considerable discord. Claims have circulated suggesting Caitlin's missteps, yet from my perspective, she has merely excelled on the court, consistently delivering stellar performances while sidestepping the vitriol directed at her from various quarters, not least from the spectators. Caitlin's potential departure could catapult her to becoming the highest-paid women's basketball star globally, a development that sits uncomfortably with Asia. Despite her MVP accolade, Asia feels sidelined, deserving of more spotlight and superior opportunities that seem just beyond reach. Why is Asia Wilson's remarkable achievement of scoring 1,000 points in a single regular season not dominating the headlines? Why is there incessant chatter about Caitlin Clark instead? What is it about Caitlin that merits such attention? Caitlin's escalating sponsorship deals and enhanced pay have significantly boosted the WNBA's viewership, yet the air of envy persists within the league. This underlines the necessity for her to explore avenues beyond. Consider a WNBA game devoid of Caitlin Clark. It's become expected for her to rack up scores like 26 and 12, which are impressive by any standard, showcasing her profound understanding and adaptation to the WNBA style of play. Despite this, Asia maintains her belief in her stardom, which predated Caitlin's arrival, a time when fan engagement with the WNBA was minimal. There's a strong case for Caitlin to be the top earner. Should she opt to play overseas, it would be a critical demonstration to her peers, including Asia, of the landscape without her presence. Turning our gaze to the spectator stands, we see an unsettling sight. Empty seats abound, even those coveted courtside. Caitlin Clark's potential engagement with a European league has stirred the WNBA to its core. Europe's reputation as a sanctuary for elite athletes is well established, its leagues known for their competitive spirit and substantial remuneration, often surpassing what the WNBA can offer. The financial allure of playing in Europe is considerable, promising not just wealth but continued excellence in the sport. This shift has prompted the relocation of home games to larger arenas to accommodate the swelling crowds, particularly noticeable when Indiana visits, resulting in a near 50% boost in league attendance this year alone, with Indiana at the forefront with an impressive average increase of 39%. The narrative of Caitlin's potential move is reshaping the WNBA's dynamics, underscoring the transformative impact of one player's decision on the future of women's basketball. Asia Wilson has openly expressed her concerns regarding Caitlin Clark's potential contract in Europe, pinpointing financial disparities as a core issue. Asia, a long-standing powerhouse in the WNBA, finds it particularly painful to consider that Caitlin might surpass her earnings overseas. It's a matter not merely of financial stability, but of the prestige associated with being the league's top earner. Consequently, Asia finds herself grappling with the need to internalize a mindset that justifies receiving treatment she feels unworthy of. In professional sports, higher earnings not only reflect increased value, but also command greater respect. Being one of the highest-paid players often translates to being regarded as one of the most valuable, both on the court and off. Diligently having built her brand and cemented her place within the WNBA, Asia now confronts the harsh reality that Caitlin's burgeoning prominence could overshadow her own. For someone who has long been an emblematic figure of the league, this adjustment is tough to digest. Once part of one of the WNBA's most cherished teams, Asia now navigates through a season laden with controversy. Recently criticized for her remarks to Kelsey Plum, her concerns extend beyond mere financial implications. Asia fears that Caitlyn's move to Europe might jeopardize her status as the preeminent icon of the league. Asia has traditionally been the reference point in discussions around women's basketball. However, Caitlyn's swift rise threatens to shift this dynamic significantly. The possibility of Caitlyn not only surpassing her financially, but also capturing the international spotlight is unsettling for Asia, challenging her sense of security and prominence within the sport. The role of being the WNBA's face transcends athletic excellence, encompassing the ability to captivate the public's imagination, drive viewership, and embody the league on a global platform. While A'ja Wilson has long held this distinction, Caitlin Clark's ascent has ignited a robust rivalry between the two. The sentiment that Caitlin should unequivocally be a top MVP contender highlights the depth of her impact, so much so that her recognition as a pivotal figure seems undeniable. For A'ja, the challenge is not merely about excelling as a player, but about staying pertinent in an evolving sports landscape where Caitlin's influence is rapidly becoming a hallmark of the future of women's basketball. The way fans regard A'ja and Caitlin reveals significant shifts. Caitlin's rapidly growing fan base, bolstered by her active social media engagement and the high viewership her games attract, marks a notable change in public perception, setting her apart as a fan favorite both in-game and online. The evolving rivalry between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark has created a palpable divide within the WNBA. Despite A'ja's long-standing success, she has not been able to engender the same level of fan loyalty that Caitlin has seemingly achieved with ease. A'ja's refusal to acknowledge her perceived advantages contrasts starkly with the view of Caitlin as not just a problem but indeed a solution and an inspiration for the league. Caitlin's rapid popularity surge raises questions about why she has resonated so deeply with fans, while A'ja, despite her consistent excellence, struggles to garner the same level of adoration. The allure of new talent often captivates audiences, and Caitlin's entrance into the WNBA has injected a fresh and compelling narrative into the league. Fans now view Caitlin as the future of women's basketball, whereas A'ja, despite her dominance, is perceived as a vestige of the league's past. This perception was underscored by A'ja's recent performance, where her team won only one game in the series, prompting speculation about the potential outcomes of a more extended series. This lack of recognition from fans is more than just a personal disappointment for A'ja. It threatens her legacy and relevance in a sport where fan support is crucial to a player's career longevity. As Caitlin's fan base expands, there's a real concern for A'ja that her own supporters might diminish, which could diminish her influence both in the league and publicly. Being the MVP should have cemented her status as the face of the WNBA, yet she finds herself increasingly overshadowed by Caitlin. Despite having her own signature shoe and logo with Nike, there's a sense that these efforts are insufficient, as the company seems more focused on appeasing her than genuinely promoting her brand. Caitlin's ascent has also been met with a notable hesitancy from the league to fully support her, despite her substantial contributions to increasing viewership and advocating for player welfare. This resistance within the league is perplexing, considering Caitlin's role in elevating the profile of women's basketball and implementing significant improvements like charter jets for player travel. This reluctance by the WNBA to embrace Caitlin may partly stem from her positioning as a transformative figure challenging the established norms of the league. Caitlin's outspoken nature, her meteoric rise, and her advocacy for improved conditions have positioned her as a polarizing figure. Despite the resistance, her achievements are undeniable, leading her team to its first 20-win season in nearly a decade and securing a playoff spot, underscoring her deservingness of recognition and accolades. Her proactive stance and visibility have sparked debates about the direction of the league and the treatment of its stars, highlighting a broader struggle between maintaining traditional structures and embracing progressive changes. For some, Caitlin Clark represents a disruption to the established order of the WNBA, a dynamic force propelling change too swiftly for comfort. This resistance, however, is deeply entwined with issues of power dynamics within the league. Caitlin's growing influence allows her to assert demands, challenging the comfort zones of those accustomed to holding the reins of control. Comparatively, while LeBron James also had signature shoes in his rookie year, his influence on the NBA pales in comparison to the profound impact Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA. The league's hesitancy to fully back Caitlin underscores a deeper conflict between maintaining traditional control and empowering players to voice their perspectives and needs. Caitlin's advocacy has led to significant enhancements, notably the introduction of chartered jets, which have markedly improved the travel conditions for players. Prior to her efforts, WNBA players often grappled with grueling travel schedules that compromised their performance and recovery. Caitlin's push for chartered flights has fostered a more professional and conducive environment, enabling athletes to concentrate on excelling at basketball. Despite some stakeholders pointing fingers and expressing dissent, they should ostensibly appreciate the reduced viewership they believe aligns with their views. Yet the irony is that such improvements are actually enriching the league. Beyond improving travel logistics, Caitlin has been a staunch advocate for the broader welfare of WNBA players, championing fair compensation and enhanced working conditions. Her proactive stance has established her as a pivotal leader within the league, although it has also made her a magnet for criticism. Despite encountering opposition from peers and the league's administration, Caitlin persists in advocating for reforms that benefit all players. Nevertheless, her contributions are not universally lauded. Instead of receiving acclaim, she often finds herself embroiled in controversies. Players like A'ja Wilson perceive Caitlin's drive for change as a threat to the status quo, leading to divisions among those who endorse her progressive vision and those who resist the shift she advocates. Caitlin Clark leads the league in jersey sales, closely followed by Angel Reese, Sabrina, and Kate Martin. Early this season, we discussed the surprising underutilization of Kate Martin, especially in the latter half of the season. She arguably deserves more playing time, or perhaps a transfer to a team like Indiana could rejuvenate her career. The possibility of Caitlin Clark relocating to Europe poses a substantial threat to the WNBA's viewership metrics. Caitlin has rapidly ascended as one of the league's premier attractions, drawing fans who specifically tune in to watch her dynamic play style and personal engagement with the audience. Whenever Caitlin is playing, there's a notable spike in viewership, but her absence is equally felt with a significant dip in ratings. Should Caitlin transfer to a European league, the WNBA would not only lose one of its marquee players, but also a vast segment of its fan base, leaving a void that might be impossible to fill. This would be a severe blow for a league striving to expand its audience and enhance its visibility. The broader implications of Caitlin's potential departure extend beyond mere viewership. They affect the very fabric of the league's economics and player morale. Fewer fans at games mean reduced sponsorship deals and fewer endorsement opportunities, which could diminish players' earnings and hinder their ability to cultivate personal brands. Caitlin's presence has elevated the WNBA to new heights, and without her, the league faces a real risk of regression. For A'ja Wilson, who has already voiced her frustrations over Caitlin's rising prominence, the situation could worsen if Caitlin departs, taking a significant portion of the league's viewership with her. A'ja's concerns extend beyond the court to include her partnerships, notably with Nike, which has hesitated to fully support Caitlin despite her popularity, opting instead to focus significant promotional efforts on A'ja. This has caused some controversy within the league, as many, including Asia, find it difficult to adapt when the established norms are challenged. For Asia, the issue is not solely about financial compensation, it's about maintaining her stature and influence within the sport. Endorsements are crucial in shaping an athlete's public persona and ensuring financial stability, allowing them to compete at the highest levels. Nike's reluctance to fully embrace Caitlyn highlights the delicate balance brands must maintain between promoting top talent and navigating potential controversies. Despite her groundbreaking impact on the league, Caitlyn faces considerable backlash from various quarters, which raises questions about her broader reception within the sport. This backlash isn't just perplexing, underscores a resistance to change within the league, with some veterans like Asia viewing Caitlyn's meteoric rise as a direct threat to their status. Caitlyn's advocacy for better travel conditions through chartered jets and her push for improved player welfare mark her as a transformative figure within the WNBA. Yet, these initiatives have brought her into conflict with a league still grappling with its identity and direction. Caitlyn's potential move to Europe would not only challenge the WNBA's current business model, but also signal a significant shift in how professional women's basketball perceives and values its talent. The decision to stay or go will profoundly influence Caitlyn's career and the future trajectory of the WNBA, making it imperative for the league to reassess how it supports and promotes its stars. If Caitlyn departs, it could catalyze a shift in the global dynamics of women's basketball, positioning Europe as a new center of gravity for elite talent and challenging the WNBA to either evolve or risk diminishing its role on the world stage.